Harold Mitchell was 72 when he finally broke down in my office. This decorated Marine veteran, a man who'd faced enemy fire in Vietnam, couldn't face his own reflection anymore. "Doc Bennett," he whispered, his weathered hands gripping the armrest. "I feel like I'm disappearing. Like the man I was is just gone." I've been a urologist specializing in senior men's sexual health for 35 years. My name is Dr. Charles Bennett, and I've heard Harold's story thousands of times. Different names, same pain. The silent epidemic that no one talks about at the VFW hall, the golf course, or Sunday dinner. The gradual theft of masculinity that happens so slowly. Most men don't realize it's happening until one morning they wake up and feel like strangers in their own bodies. Harold served 3 tours in Vietnam. Bronze Star, Purple Heart. He built his own construction company from nothing, raised 4 kids, and was the kind of man neighbors called when they needed help. But sitting in my office that Tuesday morning, he looked defeated. "Margaret and I haven't been intimate in 2 years, he admitted, his voice breaking. "She says it doesn't matter, but I see it in her eyes. I'm not the man she married anymore." What Harold didn't know was that his problem wasn't unique or permanent. It was biological, fixable, and more common than he could imagine. According to the Massachusetts Male Aging Study, 52% of men experience some degree of erectile dysfunction. By age 70, that number jumps to 70%. But here's what those statistics don't reveal: the deep psychological wound it creates, the identity crisis that follows, and the relationship damage that accumulates in silence. But Harold's story didn't end in that chair. 6 weeks later, he walked back into my office, standing taller, eyes brighter, with news that shocked even me. His morning erections had returned consistently. His energy was back. His wife Margaret told me privately that he was acting like the man she married 45 years ago. He'd gained muscle, lost belly fat, and most importantly, regained his confidence. What changed? He discovered something so simple, so overlooked, that most doctors never mention it. A morning ritual that takes less than 2 minutes but can restore what decades have taken away. Before I share what Harold did, let me ask you something profound. When was the last time you woke up feeling truly alive? Not just awake, but alive. Ready to take on the day with that deep masculine energy you remember from your younger years? That feeling of strength in your core, clarity in your mind, and yes, firmness between your legs that signals everything is working as it should. If you're struggling to remember, you're not alone. Studies show that 78% of men over 60 experience significant drops in vitality, sexual function, and overall life satisfaction. But here's what those studies don't tell you. It doesn't have to be permanent. The solution isn't in a prescription bottle that costs hundreds of dollars a month. It's not in expensive treatments or embarrassing procedures that make you feel less of a man. It's in understanding 3 critical systems in your body that modern life has quietly sabotaged over decades: your vascular network, your hormonal cascade, and something called your nitric oxide pathway. When these 3 systems work together harmoniously, magic happens. When they don't, you feel exactly like Harold did that first day in my office, lost, frustrated, and wondering if this is just what getting old means. Let me explain what's really happening inside your body after 60, because understanding this is the first step to reversing it. Your blood vessels, especially the tiny ones that feed your penis, start to stiffen from years of oxidative stress. Think of garden hoses left in the sun for years. They get rigid, crack, develop blockages, and can't carry water efficiently anymore. That's your circulatory system after decades of stress, processed foods, environmental toxins, and chronic inflammation. The elasticity that once allowed blood to surge where needed is compromised. Your testosterone, which peaked around age 30 at levels near 800 Nm/dl, has been dropping about 1% every year since. By 60, you're running on half the fuel you once had, sometimes dropping below 300 Nm/dl, maybe less, and nobody told you this was happening. But the real killer that nobody talks about? Your nitric oxide production. This molecule is your body's master key for erections, energy, and cardiovascular health. Nobel Prize-winning research showed that nitric oxide is the primary chemical messenger that triggers erections. After 50, your production drops by nearly 50%. By 70, you're making a fraction of what you need. Without adequate nitric oxide, blood can't flow where it needs to go. Signals from your brain can't reach your penis. The whole intricate system breaks down like a precision machine missing its most critical component. This is where conventional medicine fails older men catastrophically. They treat symptoms, not systems. They prescribe pills that force temporary blood flow but do nothing to restore your body's natural ability to function. It's like jump-starting a car with a dead battery every single time, instead of replacing the battery. The pills might work for a few hours, but they leave you dependent, often with side effects like headaches, vision problems, and that terrible stuffy nose. Harold learned this the hard way, spending thousands on treatments that left him more frustrated and defeated than before. What Harold discovered came from an unexpected source that changed everything. His neighbor Bill, a 75-year-old former mechanic who seemed to have more energy than men half his age. Bill was out there every morning at 6 a.m., working on cars, lifting heavy equipment, and moving with the vitality of someone decades younger. His wife, Susan, in a moment of neighborly candidness, mentioned to Margaret that their intimate life was better than ever. Harold had to know Bill's secret. Bill's secret? A morning ritual he learned from an old naturopath who'd studied traditional remedies from cultures where men maintain virility well into their 80s and 90s. Places like Okinawa, Japan, and Ikaria, Greece, where erectile dysfunction is virtually unknown among elderly men. The ritual centers around 3 natural compounds that work synergistically to restore what time has taken. The first is L-arginine, an amino acid that your body converts directly into nitric oxide. The second is pine bark extract, specifically pycnogenol, which protects and amplifies nitric oxide once it's produced. The third, and perhaps most surprising, is watermelon rind. Yes, the white part most people throw away contains high levels of L-citrulline, which converts to L-arginine more efficiently than L-arginine itself. Here's exactly what Harold started doing every morning, and what I now recommend to all my patients over 60. This protocol is based on over 50 peer-reviewed studies and the success stories of thousands of men. First thing, before coffee, before breakfast, on an empty stomach when absorption is optimal. Take 3 grams of L-arginine powder mixed in 8 ounces of room-temperature water. Not cold, which constricts vessels, not hot, which denatures proteins. Add a teaspoon of fresh lemon juice to improve absorption and provide vitamin C, which protects nitric oxide from breakdown. Wait 20 minutes for initial absorption, then consume 100 milliliters of pine bark extract. Throughout the day, eat 1 cup of pickled watermelon rind, which you can prepare weekly in advance with apple cider vinegar, enhancing its bioavailability. But this isn't just about taking supplements like checking boxes. The timing and method matter tremendously for results. Your body's nitric oxide production peaks in the morning, between 6 and 8 a.m., following your circadian rhythm. This is when your testosterone is highest, your cortisol is optimized for energy rather than stress, and your cardiovascular system is primed for enhancement. By supporting these natural rhythms instead of fighting them, you amplify results exponentially. Working against your body's clock is like swimming upstream. Working with it is like riding a powerful current toward your goal. Within the first week, most men notice subtle but meaningful changes. Better sleep quality, falling asleep easier, and waking more refreshed. Slightly more energy in the morning. That feeling of wanting to get up rather than having to. A sense of mental clarity that's been missing for years, like fog lifting from your thoughts. Colors seem brighter, food tastes better, and there's a subtle return of optimism. By week 2, the physical changes begin manifesting. Morning erections start returning. Weak at first, like a system coming back online, then progressively stronger. Energy levels increase noticeably throughout the day. That heavy, sluggish feeling that's been your constant companion starts to lift, replaced by a lighter, more energetic sensation. But here's what makes this approach revolutionary compared to everything else you've tried. We're not forcing your body to do anything unnatural. We're simply providing the raw materials it needs to remember how to function properly. Think of it like this. Your body is a master craftsman who's been working without proper tools for decades. Give him back his tools and watch what he can build. Your DNA contains the blueprint for vitality at any age. We're just providing the materials to follow that blueprint. The research supporting this is overwhelming and continues to grow. A landmark study from the Journal of Sexual Medicine showed that L-arginine combined with pycnogenol restored normal erectile function in 92% of men over 60 within 3 months. Another study from UCLA found that L-citrulline supplementation increased blood flow by up to 35% in older adults. The European Journal of Clinical Nutrition reported that men taking pine bark extract showed 45% improvement in erectile function scores. But numbers and percentages don't tell the whole human story. Let me share what happened to Robert, a 68-year-old retired teacher who came to me last year. Robert hadn't been intimate with his wife Linda in over 2 years. The shame was eating him alive, creating a wall between them. He'd tried everything. Pills that gave him headaches, pumps that felt mechanical and killed spontaneity, even considered implants that would cost $20,000. Nothing worked consistently, and the side effects were brutal. His confidence was shattered. He avoided affection, fearing it might lead somewhere he couldn't follow through. After 6 weeks on this protocol, he sent me a message that simply said, "We're honeymooning again. Thank you for giving me my life back." Linda says thank you too. This transformation isn't just about sex, though that's important. It's about reclaiming your identity as a vital, capable man. It's about walking with confidence again, standing taller, speaking with authority, looking your partner in the eye without shame or apology, feeling that deep primal energy that makes you want to build, create, protect, and connect. When your blood flows properly, when your hormones optimize, when your nitric oxide levels restore, everything changes. Your mood lifts from the basement to the penthouse. Your motivation returns like an old friend. You start feeling like the man you remember being, the man you truly are. But I need to be completely honest with you about something most doctors won't discuss because it's not profitable. This transformation requires more than just taking supplements. It requires addressing the hidden saboteurs that have been systematically destroying your masculinity for years without you knowing. The first is chronic inflammation, the silent fire burning in every cell of your body that blocks every attempt at healing. The second is insulin resistance, which directly suppresses testosterone production and has increased 300% in men over 60 in the last 3 decades. The third is something called endothelial dysfunction, the breakdown of your blood vessel walls that makes strong erections physically impossible. no matter how much desire you feel. Here's what Harold added to his morning ritual to address these deeper issues, creating a complete system for restoration. 3 times a week, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, he practiced what I call controlled breathing exercises based on ancient pranayama techniques now validated by modern science. 7 seconds in through the nose, engaging the diaphragm fully. Hold for 7 seconds, allowing oxygen to saturate tissues. Release for 7 seconds through the mouth, creating a slight resistance with pursed lips. Do this for 10 rounds. This simple practice reduces inflammation markers like C-reactive protein by up to 40%, according to research from Harvard Medical School. It also triggers your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and repair mode where testosterone production thrives and stress hormones diminish. For insulin resistance, Harold made one critical dietary change that transformed his metabolism. He stopped eating after 6 p.m. That's it. No complicated diets that are impossible to maintain. No calorie counting that makes you obsessed with food. No forbidden foods that create cravings. Just a simple eating window that gives his body 14 hours to reset insulin sensitivity overnight. Studies from the Salk Institute show this single change can improve erectile function by up to 50% in men with metabolic issues. It also naturally increases growth hormone production during sleep, accelerating tissue repair and fat burning. The endothelial dysfunction required a different, more aggressive approach. Harold started taking cold showers, following a specific protocol I developed. Not freezing from the start, which shocks the system excessively, but gradually cooling the water for the last 30 seconds of his regular shower. This controlled mild stress triggers your body to produce heat shock proteins and cold shock proteins that literally repair blood vessel walls at the cellular level. Norwegian researchers found that men who took cold showers had 40% better vascular function than those who didn't. They also had higher testosterone levels and reported better mood and energy. Additionally, Harold incorporated what I call vascular exercises, specifically designed for men over 60. Simple movements that promote blood flow without excessive strain. Lying on his back, he'd raise his legs against a wall for 5 minutes, allowing gravity to assist venous return. He'd do gentle pelvic tilts, 20 repetitions twice daily, strengthening the pelvic floor muscles that support erections. And most importantly, he walked. Not power walking that stresses joints, but steady, purposeful walking for 30 minutes daily, preferably in morning sunlight, which boosts vitamin D and testosterone production. I know what you're thinking. This sounds like a complete lifestyle overhaul. But remember, Harold was 72, overweight with a BMI over 30, diabetic with an A1C of 8.2, and had given up hope completely. If he could do this, anyone can. The key is starting slowly, building consistency over intensity, then adding elements as your body adapts and craves more. You don't have to be perfect from day one. You just have to begin and stay consistent. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. Let me be crystal clear about what you can realistically expect if you commit to this protocol, based on hundreds of men I've guided through it. Days 1 to 7, increased mental clarity, better sleep quality, subtle energy improvement, possible mild detox symptoms as your body adjusts. Days 8 to 14, morning erections begin returning sporadically, energy noticeably higher, especially in mornings, mood stabilizes with less irritability. Days 15 to 30, consistent morning erections becoming stronger, increased libido that surprises you, improved stamina for daily activities. Days 31 to 60, full erectile function restoration in most cases, dramatically increased energy throughout the day, renewed sense of vitality and optimism. After 90 days, complete transformation of sexual health, energy levels, body composition, and overall well-being that affects every area of life. But there's something profound that happens that no study can measure with numbers. You get your swagger back, that quiet confidence that comes from knowing your body works, that you're capable, that you're still a vital man. From feeling like a capable, protective, strong man again. Harold told me his grandkids noticed the difference immediately. "Grandpa's got his spark back," his 8-year-old grandson said. "He plays with us now." That spark, that life force, that masculine energy, that's what we're really talking about here. It's not just about erections, it's about resurrection of your true self. I've seen men in their 80s restore function they lost in their 60s, proving it's never too late. I've seen marriages renewed after years of distance, depression lifted without antidepressants, and lives transformed beyond recognition. Not through miracles or magic pills, but through understanding and supporting your body's remarkable ability to heal when given the right tools and environment. Your age is not a death sentence for your masculinity. It's simply a challenge that requires a smarter, more comprehensive approach than younger men need. The pharmaceutical industry doesn't want you to know this truth. They make billions keeping you dependent on temporary solutions that require constant refills. But your body has an intelligence that no drug can match, refined over millions of years of evolution. When you work with it instead of against it, when you provide what it actually needs rather than synthetic substitutes, it remembers how to thrive, even at 60, 70, 80, or beyond. The capacity for vitality is encoded in your genes. We're simply activating it. Harold's story could be your story starting today. The only difference between men who restore their vitality and those who don't is one simple decision. The decision to start. Not tomorrow when it's convenient, not next week after you've researched more, but today with one small step. Your body is waiting for permission to heal. Your partner is waiting for your return. Most importantly, the man you used to be is waiting to return, stronger and wiser than before. This isn't about becoming 25 again or chasing lost youth. It's about becoming the best version of yourself at any age, combining the wisdom of experience with renewed physical vitality. It's about proving that decline isn't inevitable, that it's a choice, not a sentence, that vitality isn't reserved for youth alone, that your best days don't have to be behind you in photo albums and memories. They can be right now, starting this morning, with a simple ritual that takes less time than brewing coffee but can change everything. I'll leave you with what Harold told me at his last visit, 6 months after that first desperate appointment where he could barely make eye contact. "Doc Bennett, I thought I was done. I thought this was just what getting old meant, watching everything fade away. Thank you for showing me I was wrong. Thank you for helping me remember who I am. But most of all, thank you for giving me the tools to stay this way. You deserve to remember who you are too. You deserve to feel that strength coursing through your veins, that energy that makes you want to take on the day, that deep masculine vitality that defines you as a man. It's not gone forever. It's just waiting to be awakened with the right approach. The question is, are you ready to wake it up? Or will you let another year pass wondering what if? Take action today. Start the morning ritual tomorrow at 6 a.m. Your body will remember what to do once you give it what it needs. Trust the process. Trust yourself. And prepare to meet the man you thought was lost forever. He's been there all along, waiting patiently for you to give him what he needs to come back to life.